Welcome everybody to the Cloudology, the new show done by the Scalable Content team of Cloud Advocate. And today, with me, switching back again with that scene with her, I have the other side, Amy Boyd. Amy, what's the topic of the day?
So topic of the day is something I'm not going to profess that I'm a complete expert in, but I've been dabbling a little bit in the Microsoft Power Platform.
Oh,
And so specifically, I want to talk to you a little bit about Power Automate, previously known as Flow, if people have used it in the past, and also something called AI Builder, which blew my mind because I spend most of my time in the data science and machine learning space. But this is, yeah, unreal, like what you can do with it.
oh, that's cool. Should we start right away?
Sure, I have just a couple of infographics that I wanted to show first, if that's okay.
Yeah, of
Um,
course. Let me.
um,
There it is. So now we can see your screen.
Perfect. Perfect. So yeah, I just wanted, even if it's just visibility, iconography type stuff, just to say like what is the Power Platform? Like what am I talking about if you're completely new to this? The Microsoft Power Platform, as it says, is kind of this low code environment. It's software as a service. I checked. It is. It feels like it's so much more than that because of the amount that you can do, but technically it does sit with inside kind of it spans around Office 365, Azure Dynamics, etc. And the four parts at the moment of the Power Platform are Power BI. I'm a big fan of Power BI. It's something that I've been using a lot. Dashboards and reports and visuals are great for analytics. And then we have Power Apps. So I'm going to be like quite honest. When I first heard of Power Apps, I was a bit like, oh, like that's quite cool. But you know, if I needed to build an app, I would just like code an app. Not being kind of like a you know always doing application development or always doing web development. That would take me quite a long intelligent virtual agents. So I'm thinking like chatbots, but really, really easy to create and low code. So yeah, we
Can Amy? We're having apparently issues with your sound.
Oh no.
We're having apparently issues with your sound. Can you say anything?
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me okay? Is my sound working okay?
Can you say anything?
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me okay?
It's not that bad. Maybe you can bring the mic closer to your.
Sure, you might start to see it, but hopefully you won't mind. Is that any better?
Like on my side, it's good. Um, and I boost you to the max. Um, so, so I think what I will do, I will mute myself. Maybe it will help to remove the echo. But
Okay.
I will continue. I'm sorry for the interruption, but
No,
I
no.
was trying to play with the stuff. I like somehow it didn't work. Okay.
No, as long as people can hear, that's more important. So thank you for
So
letting me
in
know.
the chat, if you can confirm, like maybe on 10, how good it is, and we'll try to do that.
Yeah, so hopefully you can hear me a little bit better.
Oh,
I
it's a
wanted to.
4.
It's a four? What?
Okay, let
No,
me
but
try
that's a.
to audio capture. Let's try to add. Um, let's try to make something else. Sorry about that.
No, you're fine.
We didn't have yesterday. I know, like it was not perfect at the beginning and kind of readjusts by itself. Yeah, my voice is clear. Okay, but I'm hosting the show, so maybe that's why. Thank you, Ash. Okay, so let's see. Do I have another?
Well, if my microphone was really, really good, you'd be able to hear the really, really heavy rain that is at my window right now.
Because I have. Now it's looking good. Okay. So. Okay, so let's continue.
Alrighty. So yeah, I was basically saying we're gonna focus a little bit on Power Automate. Power Automate is all about making processes automated. So automation, robotic process automation, you might have heard of RPA. It's that kind of thinking around the technology, but instead of having to code things and stuff like that, it's all super low code, and so it's really, really easy to put together. And I know Jason yesterday did some stuff around logic apps. It's very, very similar. It just, you probably have, say, like less ability to put in code. However, it connects so seamlessly with so many different services, and that's something that I definitely wanted to show everyone. So mentioned data connectors there. I briefly at the start mentioned AI Builder. I'm really, really very excited to show you AI Builder. It's as I mentioned, I work in the data science space. I spend a lot of my time in things like Azure machine learning, say like building bespoke models, but also with things like our cognitive services. And it's fascinating to see how they've built all of our different services, both pre-built AI, so something where you literally just send a piece of information and get an piece of information back, no machine learning knowledge required, but also bespoke AI, so the idea that you train it. And so I'm going to show you two different examples, one pre-built, one not pre-built. And then also just to let you know, there is something called the common data service that sits underneath all of these different offerings, and that allows you to store variables and stuff like that so that you can use them across the platform. And we will see that again in Power Apps, and everything backs this. So probably
That's
just
awesome.
worth mentioning.
You mentioned RPA. Can you specify what it is?
Yeah, so from what I understand, it's robotic process automation. So it's the idea of automating things, really, is how I see it. Robotic process automation makes me always think of like a little robot like wandering around a factory type thing. But I think it can be as basic as automating a process of sending data to somewhere and then doing something else with it. And the idea that there is not a lot of human involvement, and it does things efficiently and automatically. So that's my understanding of it. If anyone has if anyone's in that space and let share what your definition of it is, that would be super interesting. Cool. So hopefully, can you see my web browser?
Yep.
Awesome. So I wanted to get started with just kind of showing you the environment and some of the basics. So first things first, I am in Power Automate. So Power Automate is actually part of Office. So if you go to office.com, you're part of like an organizational account, you actually probably already have this. So Power Apps and Power Automate come as part of Office 365. So first things first, if you do, like go check it out, go and have a look for it. Office.com, sign in there, and then you see some of the things that you've been up to. But then you can also open at flow.microsoft.com and log in, and then you're in the Power Automate environment. When you land in here, you get to this like home page, And one of the things I really, really liked about this homepage is templates. So this is the first thing that I came across when I looked at the different modules and stuff. And actually, you see that link at the bottom, aka.ms/mslearn-power platform. If you want to learn more about this whole platform, so everything from Power BI to Power Apps to Power Virtual Agents, go ahead and go to this link just here. But what we will focus on, as I mentioned, is Power Automate, and I'll give you some links as well for extra learning. As we scroll down here, it's a really nice homepage, actually. It does a lot. It tells you about some of the things that you can do. So you can do these multi-step flows, which is what we're probably going to look at a little bit more. You can do things, I read into this one, like approve requests. So it almost reminds me of macros. Again, not dove into this one enough yet. But from what I understand, you can like process the idea of like approving requests and where you need to like click and stuff like that. You can add different conditions. So these things aren't just like one path fits all. Like you can be really, really specific about exactly what you want it to do. Using on-premise data, I've not really had a chance to look at that, but I know it's a big one for people. So, as we always say, like there's never just one cloud, right? Hybrid is probably the most popular option. So using on-premise data, definitely click on this learn more link. But then I came down to this bit. So start with a template. And this was what really blew my mind because there are so many templates. Like I started to get a little bit out of control where I was like, I can automate everything. Like I would have things like pinging automation everywhere. So I brought myself back down to earth and I basically chose this one. And so my thought process behind this one was, in the past, Frank, you'll resonate with this. We used to travel quite a lot. And so that often led to expense receipts, and they were just everywhere for everything, whether you go in an Uber or the hotel or the train or, whatever it was, all these different things. And I have an iPhone and I used to use this, it was called like Share It or something like that, third-party app on my Windows device, and then it would connect. But then it just kind of like stopped working. And so I couldn't share my photos super easy if I took pictures of my receipts. And so what I then started to do was having to like email them to myself and then save as all the attachments and then tell them what folder I wanted it to save in every single time. And then, and only then, would I then actually be able to go to the expenses app and then upload them into our expense system. And so I was just like, it was a pain. It would take me ages. I'd be trying to do 3 things at once as well, which was already a problem. But this actual template here, save Office 365 email attachments to OneDrive for Business, actually really helps for this. Right? It will cut out completely that middleman, because it would literally be, if I email myself a receipt, and I could just do this like as and when I got it, because I noticed I started to get really good at like sitting on a train and taking pictures of my receipts, so that I had the date and time, and then that helped me always think of like what the receipt was. But it was super interesting to see that this one might be able to help me. So you can click on these templates. And what it will do, it will just open up a page that'll tell us a little bit more about what it's going to build for us. So it's going to build this Office 365 Outlook add-in. So I use Office 365 and Outlook. And then it's also going to have a step that takes any of the attachments from my email, puts it in my OneDrive for Business. And then also, this is really, really neat. That's why I really like this template, actually. It shows best practices. And so one of the best practices is to add in this delay. Because say like, I don't know, internet drops, like we're all on the internet all the time at the moment, and say the internet drops and it's not able to do something, or say it just like has like a clash, or I don't know, something that makes it error, some kind of 4-0 error, then it would actually just take 30 seconds and then retry, and I don't have to get involved at all. One of the nice things here, it will tell you exactly what it's trying to connect to. So in this case, it's connecting to my Tailwind Traders account, because I work for Tailwind Traders, and also my OneDrive for Business, that is my Tailwind Traders account. So if I click Create Flow here, what it will do now is I'm basically saying, yeah, I'm more than happy for you to create this flow and use all of those different logins. Let it think about what it's doing. Okay. So when it creates this flow, it will literally just take me to an environment where I can start to manage this flow. And when it says manage, it sort of means like I could share it with Frank, for example, and I could be like, Frank, this one is for me, but like technically if you had something that was like broader, could be used by your whole organization, you can absolutely do that. But it also gives you details of just like who owns it. So I could add in someone as an owner. It tells me, it's actually really good from the template because it gives you the title and the description and stuff like that. But what I want to do is, the template is never specific enough, is it? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on edit here. And even though it's built that flow for me, it's not going to stop me from going in there. I can add to it maybe, or I could edit it. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to edit what it does. Okay.
So while we're waiting, we have a question here. Is it
Sure.
free to use with Office 365, or it's a cost associated with it?
So I believe, but we might want to just double check. I believe it comes as part of Office 365. If you're part of an organizational account, so like I'm part of Tailwind Traders organization here. There are add-ons. So AI Builder is one example of an add-on where you would pay like an extra add-on. I think it's a monthly payment. I have a calculator link for you, so you can check that out later. But yeah, I believe this is all part of it. And then any of the add-ons, like go ahead and take a free trial. Also, if you've not got an Office 365, they do like a developer edition that you can get and you can sign up for pretty easy. So someone on our team told me about that. I'm doing a hack actually soon around this stuff, and so I just want to make sure everyone can like get onto it and used to it as quickly as possible. But yeah, I believe this is all part of it, and then AI Builder and other things become add-ons, and that's what you pay
Well, it
extra
must
for.
be part also of the license. You know, like in Office 365, you have like a E5, you have different kind of
Yes.
package. So I'm assuming you have some kind of a, max or whatever, like how many calls or something like that, and then
Yeah.
you need to go higher if needed. Okay, cool.
Yeah, true. But yeah, great question. Thank you for asking. Many people ask that question, I'm sure. Cool. So we can see our little flow. It looks pretty simple right here. You're a bit like, well, where is all of the flow? But if you click on any of these items, it kind of opens up more and more. So we can see on a new email that lands into my Tailwind Traders inbox, you can go to show advanced options, and then I could say like, oh, if there is an email sent from Frank, or if there is an email sent from, I don't know, like my personal email or something like that, you can add these different things in. And then also it basically says like, okay, like include attachments as well. And so that's always kind of a nice bit, because you can be like, well, if there is no attachments, I don't want it to trigger anything. So you want it to be as filtered as possible. I can imagine something like subject filter would be a really, really popular one. Like I can foresee, I don't know, there's always an email where you have attachments and it's always got like a certain title or something like that. Again, like sounds like an approval type thing or something like that. Then you might want to do the same thing and then actually be able to say only with attachments. I'll come back to this one and I'll quickly not share my, oh, actually, I think I have the other one that's working, so I can try that. And then if we drop down this piece here, so once we've got this email, so it says, okay, if an email gets sent with any of these different options, then for each attachment, so this is like a for loop, right? For each, I don't know, for 0 in I to 5 or whatever, go across each attachment that is attached to the email and then create a file. And so when we click on create a file, this is the OneDrive link here. It will choose like a folder path. But one of the things I really, really like about this is if you click on like show picker, this is going to create at the moment an email attachments from flow folder. But what I want to do is just go to my OneDrive for Business, right? Because that's what is attached. And I want to go to, say, Power Automate. And I actually want it to put the information in that folder. And so I'm easily able to tell it. And then also you'll notice this like dynamic flow box picks up. So inside file name, I can say, well, basically the attachment name.
Give me 2 seconds, Amy, because
oh, no problem.
Like it's under you. So
oh.
I will. Whoop! I don't want to hide you. I want to move you just a little bit. Voila. We'll put you in the top corner. You're not with your name, but that's fine. Now we see a little bit more the dynamics context.
Perfect. Thank you. Good spot, Frank. I was probably like, yeah, look, you can see all this here. No, my head. Like, but cool. So yeah, when you click in any of these, basically you can see anything that you can get from all the information that's passed in the flow. So at the moment, the only information we have is from our email. However, if we had like 3 different steps, you can have all of the data points from above that. And so we can see like to and subject and importance. So it's really nice because it's super granular. And then also this is in Logic Apps as well. And I think, I feel like this is the expert user in some senses, because I've not really dabbled too far, but you can actually use like a lot of expressions as well. So you could say like, if, I don't know, a certain name is in there and something else, then do something. I think they become really useful there. And so we have a file name, so the attachment name, and then we have the actual contents of the file, so you can see their contents in bytes. And then we have our fantastic condition down here, which again, like if I was building this, I would not have thought of initially. So this is really good best practice. Here we go. If the status code is 409 and that's equal to true, then quickly do a little delay, so 30-second delay here, and then retry the file. One thing I did notice, these are not the same thing. Now that, I mean, it's by design, right? It makes sense because I might want to do something different here as I want to do here. However, do make sure that it doesn't, this is in the test, and I'll show you the test in a minute, but make sure it doesn't like send it to one place if it succeeds and then a different place if it doesn't succeed and it tries again. So let's go to root again and we'll click Power Automate. And then that should change. There we go. And we've got the same thing there. Once you're done with anything, you can just click Save. So always save. Otherwise you'll lose any progress that you made. One thing I have noticed before is if you only have one section, so say we just had that email bit at the top, then it won't let you save it. You've got to have at least 2 pieces.
At least one action, right?
Yeah. So that was something, because I was like in the middle of doing something, or I was like getting a cup of tea or something, and then I was like, oh, I'll just quickly save it, but it wouldn't let me. So I just had to have faith that it would be here when I got back. But but yeah, always save. There's this really cool thing called the flow checker just up here, and basically a little warning circle will come up on that if you have any errors or warnings. So as developers, like, we're pretty used to this kind of thing, but remember, this is for anyone. So like, don't just think that if you're on this channel, like, you're like, yeah, I'm like super savvy with all developer stuff. Tell your PM, tell the domain experts, tell the marketing people, tell the salespeople, even they can go and build their own stuff in here. This is not just a developer tool, but developers can do some really successful stuff in it. Cool. So one thing that you can then do as well is you can click test here. And what you'll do is you can actually click on something like I'll perform the trigger action. So just like in Logic Apps, it will then go ahead and just say like, I'll perform the trigger action. And in fact, let's do it. Let's do this. I'll perform the trigger action. Test. My phone is actually my internet over here, so I hope I don't do anything wrong. So let me find a good photo. Alrighty. Oh, maybe not that one. this on. And I'm just going to quickly go to Outlook. Apologies. Right. We are from my email, and then we're going to go to Amy. Nick at Traders. Oh, not used to typing this one. Traders. It's a lot longer than my actual email. Traders.com. Okay, so I'm going to click test just here. And now what it wants to do is it says, okay, to see this work, perform the action. So I'm going to go ahead and send this email. Oh, it's thinking about it. And hopefully in real time, when I receive this email into my inbox, which has an image attached to it, we should see that this page will start. Your flow ran successfully. Yes. Yes, I love it when the plan goes ahead. Here we go. And then you'll notice, just like Logic Apps, if you have used it, do little green ticks, and you can click in these and go and explore. But what is more promising is if I go to my OneDrive and I go into Power Automate folder, which I'm a little concerned that it says was it 2 p.m. yesterday? We'll see.
So we have people cheering with you in the chat.
Yes. Thanks, everyone. Thank you. And so this one was about a minute ago. The one I sent yesterday is probably a cooler picture, so I'm going to open that one. But
of course, now that's the one we want to see.
I know, exactly, right? It's me looking pretty much with my favorite mascot just here. So this is what I sent to myself, and I find it now, built it for expenses, find it very useful for doing my social media. So for being able to send stuff, my phone camera is amazing. So I always send stuff from my phone. But if you're using like Hootsuite or something like that, doing like more, I don't know, designed, like with videos in them type content that I post, like Twitter, LinkedIn, all of them, I find this now very, very useful. So fun fact, we created a very, very quick flow using a template. I automated a process that I won't annoy me if we get a chance to go travel again at some point. And so that will be super useful, and I am ready for when that happens. Cool. So that was kind of like basic. I just want to show you the process first so we're all on the same page. Now I want to dive into AI Builder. Frank, are you ready? Are you ready to dive in?
I'm ready, because I know, not before Jason, I know Logic App, but I never had the time to really play and dive into Power Automation. And I knew it was similar because they are built on top of the other one, but yeah, it's awesome, very clean, like all the goodies are there, just more in Office 365, so it's awesome, really cool.
Yeah. No, I know, I love it. But AI Builder, I think, is really impressive. I think you're going to find this one's going to blow your mind. But basically, if you notice down here on the left, we have AI Builder.
Maybe it's me because I'm old, but can you zoom? What's your zoom level on that page? Are you 125 or something?
That's 125. Do you want a little bit more?
Well, 125 is usually good, so it's probably just me.
No, that's fine. It was on 100, so is that a bit better?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Oh, yeah, let's go 125. I might lose the page otherwise. Cool. So sorry about that. Yes, hopefully you were able to see. But basically, very similar to Logic Apps. We used a template. You can find it on the home page. It's the first one. It's seems to be the most popular one, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, so over here, AI Builder in our tab just under our flows, you'll notice that when you can drop these down, it says build and then it says models. So first things first, we're going to go into build, because build, I feel like this bit is almost like the home page of AI Builder. It tells you everything you need to know. And I don't know what the correct terminology is for AI Builder, if we have a certain slogan or phrase that we use, but I see it as AI that anyone can use, and you can very, very easily build it into Power Automation flows and Power Apps. And yeah, it's impressive. Like I said, the amount of work that you do as a data scientist, as a developer, to even integrate these things into like Azure container instances and host them and deploy them and manage them. I mean, yeah, it's unbelievable. So we don't need this one open, so I'll close this browser just in case that's making any issues for us.
Do you know if we can still have bits? Is it I know it was a very limited thing. Is it still possible to acquire that beautiful mascot?
I don't know. I actually don't know.
I don't know either. Like it was some people fall in love in the chat about it. I know I don't have one. I would like to.
Do you know? So. I'm not even sure where I got mine from. I think he came in a box. He came in a really cool box. And I like unpacked him, but it was quite funny because I didn't expect it, I don't think, when it arrived. And then I was like, what is this? And like he comes out with all like his stickers and stuff like that. And yeah, he just sits on my desk. But I also have his friend, a Snapchat ghost, just here as well. That's a treat.
That's cool too.
I got this from a machine learning conference. I think they were trying to hire people for like Snapchat research. Let me just.
So Laurent it's maybe Jim Bennett who made them.
Is it? Probably, maybe speak to Jim or Adam on our team, Adam Jackson as well.
I know Adam had one.
He's done a lot of stuff in that space.
It's a very limited edition. That's cool like that. That's why everybody wants one.
I know. That's why he's going to stay on my desk. I don't want people like taking him. Cool. Sorry about that. Let me just, we seem to be struggling a little bit here to get it to load a few bits and bobs, but if it works with me, that'll be a treat.
Yeah, so people are saying that to keep bit safe.
Is that a threat? Like
no, meaning like you do it, keep it. It's so nice.
I know.
It was done with a smiley face.
So. Oh, good. And he likes sitting there with the Snapchat ghost and a candle. I've got a very, very nice candle in here. When it gets stressful, when I'm coding, I light my candle to keep zen and not throw my laptop out the window. Like, but yeah. Man,
there's a streamer also on the on Twitch, Bald Builder, Triple B or Michael Jolie, and he lit candles. So like he let people vote on the candle, and then he lit the candle for his on his stream, and you can send him also candle and stuff like that.
And, that's so funny.
And sometimes it smells good, and sometimes it doesn't, and that's why it's funny.
Oh, no. Only nice smelling candles live in this house. It's very much struggling here, and I'm not sure why. Here we go. Let's try and work around this one.
And we're asking a lot right now, right?
Yeah.
Streaming, like all those things.
It's I don't have great internet. So I mentioned that Power Automate, right? We've been in Power Automate. You can actually access a lot of this AI Builder stuff from Power Apps as well. So if this one, whichever one loads quicker, we'll just use that. But I wanted to show you a couple of examples. So pre-built AI. What am I talking about when I talk about pre-built AI? I mean a bit like if you use the Azure Cognitive Services. So if you've used like sentiment analysis, like text analytics or image classification or object detection, you'll find that all of these also sit inside AI Builder now, which allows you to build them very quickly into these apps. And again, it's this idea of like, you don't need to know anything about machine learning. You just need to read up a little bit on like what it is, what it does, what information it's going to give you back, and then you can go ahead and like build it in, and it will just provide you that intelligence back. So here we go. We are inside. So this is Power Apps. So the only difference it looks like at the moment is actually the banner. Where it says Power Apps instead of Power Automate. You can go into things like create app from blank. I tend to start there. You can give it a name. So we'll just call this one sentiment.
So the
Oh,
MS guy is asking a question in the chat, and I think you will kind of answer the question in the next minute. But I just want to bring that. So he's
sure.
asking, can we have the flow exposed via API endpoint so that we can trigger it via a mobile or a web app?
Oh, it's a good shout. I think it's something we would need to look in the docs. I've been focusing mainly on using it with inside the Power Platform. So like you can definitely access flows very easily from inside Power Automate. Can you?
You
Can
can
you?
probably, yeah, you can probably do an HTTP trigger and something like that.
Yes.
So and then like
Sorry, no.
having a power apps publish in your phone, and then you will have that magic button that trigger it from your phone. Or if it's a web app, then just calling a web API like the
Yeah.
HTTP trigger, and then you're fine.
I was gonna say, I think if we go to flows again, I'll go to create. I have so many things I want to do right now, and the internet is being so slow. I'm like, let me show you this. Let me show you this. Yeah, so because you can do stuff like where you get from push notification. But if I searched all templates for like HTTP,
We have plenty of time, so don't worry for that.
I have so much
You
to
will
show
have
you.
the time to show us everything.
I don't think that's true. There is too much. Too much. Well,
Then like you will need to come back.
No problem. Let's try and get better internet first, maybe. Let's see. What's it going to show when we go HTTP? But yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot in here. Search very quick custom action. But remember as well, like this is not just designed for all of us who are used to this. Actually, yes, I think that just there is the HTTP symbol. These ones. Here we go. Create Azure AD group from HTTP request. So it looks like this is this kind of turquoisey with like is it like a glow, like a world thing, or
Yeah.
I don't know what
It's a
that.
web HTTP. Like you can just do it's like an HTTP call, and then like you just call it. Like it's the same thing on Logic app. So it's
Yes.
yeah, like you can build API with that. So and to export, like earlier you show us like I'm not sure if that tab is still open. I don't want to get you back in your tabs.
Let's have a look. So look at my flows.
But like you probably know the answer on top of your head, but I know in Logic App you can export the template because in fact it's a big JSON document, right? And in Power Apps, I'm assuming Power Automation. Sorry, I'm assuming it's the same thing. I'm not sure where the button is to get the
I
file
think
if you
you
want
can.
to save it like in a GitHub or something like that.
So I don't know if you can actually export it outside of this. That's the thing. So let's click on this one. I know that you can import different flows, and so that makes me think actually there is some kind of option under here. Let's have a look. Original template.
Save as, and it just
Save
create
as.
like a new record, or it export the.
Save as. Send a copy, submit as a template, save as. Oh, export. There's an export on there as well.
Oh, yeah, export. Because yeah, it is like behind the scene that flow is in fact a JSON file.
As a zip? Oh, as a Logic Apps template.json. So maybe when it's not a template, maybe it's when you create, that might show up. It'd be interesting to search or something around that. Like when does Logic Apps template become not grayed out? That's very interesting, right? Because if you built one in Logic Apps, I wonder if you can import it as a new flow. If it had like so that like your business users could use it, or they have quick access to it, etc.
We'll need to take that note of that. So a good
Mm-hmm.
question was asking that. Yeah, I was AS. I don't know, like that's a. And yeah,
Okay.
and people thought that Microsoft had good internet connection, but she's not in Microsoft Office.
Yeah, I'm at home. My home does not have a good internet connection.
That's the big difference.
This is what I have to live with every day. Yeah, I wish. I know. I wish I was in the office with a nice internet. Um, Here we go. Oh, so this is not going well. I'm trying to think. Did I record some? If not, I do have some videos on YouTube of this stuff, so we could always do some chatting around there.
Make a view party.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry. My
Well,
internet
it's
is so
loading.
poor. Why does it just want to keep authenticating all the time? Skip. Okay. Right. Okay, so one of the things that you can do, if I can, I'm not sure why it keeps wanting to authenticate me here. Insert. You can insert things like text. Oh, sorry, input. Input just here. We can go text input. I thought this was pretty impressive, and I'm going like right off the top of my head here. That we just want to put that there, and I think it was in advanced. It wanted me to change the delay. Options. So delay equal to true. And then, so this becomes like a text input cell. And then if I go to label, here we go. And I put the label just here. We'll stretch this out. So obviously, as you can see, Power Apps, you can click and drag things onto the screen. You can make buttons, inputs, galleries. There is just endless stuff. It's really, really good. But what I want to do is that I think now, if I can go up to here, I can literally start typing in AI Builder. Here we go. And then I can go dot. And I believe it's analyze sentiment. So we want the text to analyze. And so the text to analyze is actually our text input 1 just here. So if we go text input, hopefully it comes up, text input 1. Does it need any more parameters, comma? No, we don't want any more parameters than that. And then we can go dot, and then you can get document scores, sentences. We want the sentiment just there. And then if I hit enter, we can see that from the word text input, it just said neutral. But if I press play and we preview the app, I can then type in like, really enjoying this session, and it will come back as positive. My internet is really bad sometimes. Sometimes, because now it seems to be okay, and it comes back as negative. But what I was able to use was just use this idea of AI Builder, the package, and then you can start to use any of those pre-built AI inside of your apps. And I mean, how quick was that? Like I literally put a text input box and a label, and that
Yeah.
was it. I wrote one function, and I'm able to use like AI so quickly. So it's super powerful. Like if I had to do this and build my own app, I'd have to build my own app, then I'd have to sign up for Azure Cognitive Services, and then I'd have to make the API call with keys, etc. No, man, like I'd done a free trial. I'm on the free trial of AI Builder as well. You get 30 days for free. But yeah, I just thought this was really impressive, a really, really nice way to use AI Builder inside. It also was quite, like, I've only done this once, and so that was actually a really quite a good experience of being able to, all I knew was I needed AI Builder, and then it kind of took me from there and gave me some great IntelliSense. So that was an absolute treat. And you can do so much more, and we'll actually come back to something else that we can do inside Power Apps hopefully in a minute. And it's loaded, so we can see whilst it's here, let me tell you everything about what's on this page. So we have I have 30 days remaining on my free trial, so definitely go ahead if you want to try this, get the free trial, try it all out first, build some stuff that is useful for your organization or your own needs. But you'll see here, these are models where I can refine them. So that idea where I was saying kind of like bespoke AI. So what we're going to look at in a minute is this form processing one, because I literally think that's so useful for so many organizations. Something that we did was we got straight to productivity, and we used the sentiment analysis piece just here. But you can use text recognition, so find text in images, language text, business card reader. That is, I don't think that's a cognitive service, right? Is that just something else that we've built separately? I've not seen it in cognitive services. Maybe I'm wrong. Category classification, entity, key phrase extraction, all of these ones are just like the sentiment analysis one we showed. They are already there and you just leverage them. If you click on sentiment analysis, it takes you to a really nice, like, in fact, any of these models, it will tell you exactly how to use it. So it says, oh, like click this button and use it in a flow, or click this button and it would open the Power Apps like I did. Try it out is always a handy one. You can do what I did there, but like, oh, you know, how well does it do on the text that we want it to process, and like just give it a quick example and see whether you can analyze it. And then also, I love this. It gives you best practices on how to use these. Yeah, so like it's basically saying, like, you know, if you want to do for larger text, use the sentiment detected at the sentence level. So say you had a whole paragraph, rather than saying the overall text, because it's probably going to say mixed, check out each sentence. And if you notice, there's like percentage points here, so that's how confident it is, of like it's 80% sure that it's negative, or it's 94% sure it's positive. So yeah, don't use the overall document, it'll get a little confused. What else is here? You use text entries that are all in the same language, because you select in the flow, you actually select the language, and it has lots of different languages available for you as well, which is cool. But it seems to struggle at the moment with having multiple languages in one document, so keep that in mind.
I think everyone struggles when you have too many languages in the same document.
Yeah, probably. I mean, that's not easy for a human either, right? So
like if there's, like, I speak French and English, and if there's two languages at some point, like, it's context switching. It's like, you know, of course, like if it's just one sentence, it's not that bad. But then but for AI, it's just crazy, because there's words that are common in all those languages, right? Assuming they are sharing the same alphabet.
That's true.
So
that's true.
That's good. I love those, like, you know, those best practices. They are tiny bits of information, super accessible, easy to digest, kind of just pass through and say, okay, yes, fine. And then like you're already twice better than initially. It's really cool.
I know, right? Honestly, it's so impressive. It really, really is. And so now I'm going to impress you even more. Are you ready?
Yeah. Should I sit?
But potentially, I'm going to knock your socks off. I hope you're wearing socks. But it's, the one where, oh my goodness, that was even bad for me. I'm almost embarrassed that actually went out on live. But yeah, here we go. So we want to refine the model. So the other ones, right? We just used it. But for some things, that's just not going to be possible, right? We have very bespoke things that we want to do, or we all work probably in different industries where we all care about different things. Now, one of the things that I found super useful, I think it got released at Build last year, so Build 2019, was the Forms Recognizer cognitive service. Super impressive. So many people have been asking for this when I've been like at hackathons, when I've been with customers and stuff like that. And then in cognitive services, we started to use it. And then we also started to use it in something called cognitive search that's in Azure. And that's the ability to create your own search index and then infuse it with intelligence. So I like to think of it as breaking down dark data. So we used to call it dark data when you wouldn't be able to extract data from certain documents. So think PDFs, think images, anything where the data was very much encapsulated inside and it was very, very hard to get that data out. And now form processing is landing in a software as a service offering here for you to be able to train it on your own documents. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable, Jeff. And so in form processing, we get the same experience. I loved this about AI Builder, same experience across all of the different things. So get started. It's telling me we're going to upload at least 5 different versions of the same basic document. So what does it mean by that? It means the same layout and structure, but with different information in it. And I'll show you some examples in a minute. We're going to select some important areas so that we can train the AI model on what we want it to understand and pick up. It will actually extract these, we will see for itself, which is super impressive. And then we're going to actually publish and use the AI model. So once we publish it, we can, if you recognize these symbols, we can then use it in Power Apps, and we can also use it inside flows, and we will do both. And so I like this as well. So let's give our model a name. So we'll call it Tier 1 Traders Forms. And it tells us exactly what we need before we get going. So I need 5 documents with the same layout. So I'm going to just open my File Explorer over here. And we'll click Create on this so it gets ahead of us. Cool. So just like that load. But now what we're going to do is we're actually going to train our Forms Recognizer AI model to recognize the specific documents that I have. So for Tier 1 Traders, we have loads of sales invoices for our retail stores, and they are all in PDF. And so one of the things we want to do is we want to be able to extract all of that data and then analyze it. So I can imagine something happening like this, right? I use Forms Recognizer, I extract all of this data, and then I save it in my document store. I could also probably then use a flow if I wanted to and save it off to like Azure storage. And then I could go into something like Power BI, another part of the Power Platform, and then analyze all of this data and build visualizations and dashboards to explain exactly how our sales are going. But let's go back to point 1, right? We're going to, as you can see, you can access from blob storage, a SharePoint, very useful for business users. I'm going to upload from local storage just here. And again, just to emphasize how impressive this is, so we want, I think it's in my downloads just here, training. Here we go. So you only need 5 pieces of, that's it, just 5 invoices. If I'm going to level with you, if you trained like an image classifier and you built it yourself and you had to train it from scratch, you would need tens of thousands of images to train it normally. 5, it's so impressive.
And like the result will be enough? Like will be good, I mean?
Yeah, so they say 5 at a minimum, and then they recommend 20 for production. So like if you want it like super tip-top shape, like why not pop in 20 instead? Let's upload our 5 documents.
Oh, impressive.
It honestly, like it is. And it's the same for the cognitive service. So this isn't just for AI Builder. Like this is just as impressive in the cognitive service. You only need 5 to train it on. And so actually it gives you a little sneak peek of the actual file, but we're going to dig into them a little bit deeper. So it's uploaded my different documents just here. I love this little quick tips bit. So look, it says you need to add at least 5 examples. Adding up to 20 could yield better results. What does analyzing actually do? So I'm about to click this analyze button. Well, what is it going to do? In fact, I will. But these are all my different 5 documents. They have my tailwind traders. You can see, right, the layout is similar, but the data is different inside it. So these are all different customers with all different purchases and different size tables. So I'm going to click analyze. What this is going to do is you've uploaded documents. They'll be analyzed to identify the overall structure and detect fields and extract the field values. So this is going to do it automatically. So what it's going to do, it's going to try and find like name, and then it's going to say, well, whatever is underneath that is probably the name value in some senses. And it goes and it does that for the whole document. It says this may take a few minutes. It hasn't, for this example, it doesn't tend to take that long. So hopefully that's the case in this case. But yeah, it's super.
Yeah, it's very useful. Like I'm sure you could do a bunch of stuff. There's a Shirley Dev in the chat say, someone at my place was working on importing images of invoice into an accounting system before, and I'm not sure how far they went with it. Because it's a lot of job. Like if you do everything by yourself, it's just crazy.
Yeah, right. Like, and also like this is a PDF, but I don't know if you saw it. You can upload JPEGs. Like, say this was like a really manual process in your business. Like, someone is scanning or taking pictures of these documents. We can unlock them completely with this kind of thing. And actually, that person could actually come in here and create it. Like, it doesn't even need developer or data scientist minds. But that's a great question, and you should definitely go and explore that. Like, go and ask that person and just say, all I'm going to say to you is Power Platform AI Builder.
Give me
they're your keywords.
Yeah. I bet I can do this in like 2-3 days.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So should we take a look at the form? It says no fields selected, but don't let that, because at the start I was like, oh no, it's like not detected anything. That's not the case. Let's click in and see a little bit more here. So to help get you started, some fields have been automatically detected for you. If the field isn't detected, don't panic, because you can actually confirm that these fields are in all the documents. So if you add a field, you need to add it in all 5. So just let you know, there's a little bit of clicking and dragging there. But that's all good. And then you can also resize fields. And in fact, I see it here. Actually, it has done it again. So I'm going to resize a field, and I'll show you what that means as well. So let's close this.
I'm assuming if, for example, the 5 invoice you took was on the same day, then maybe the AI didn't see the date as a field because, it didn't change.
Yes. So true. That's a really, really good example, actually. And that brings me to another point, a best practice that wasn't in there, actually. Use a variety of data. Yeah, try not to have the same things in the values, because as Frank said, it could get a little bit confused there. I don't know if it does. I've not tried it. It's something to test, right? How low maintenance is this? You could just test whatever. So what it's done is it has highlighted with a little box all of the different values that it's found. So let's start up here. If I click on this box, it says that's the actual feature name that you're going to get, or the field that it was picking up. You can edit this as well. I've actually never edited it because I've just used the one that comes up here. But then it also gives you the value, and I can say yes, I want to use this field in all my documents, or I can say actually that is not necessary for the data I need. Remember as well, in machine learning, don't extract anything you don't need, because all of this is just processing time. So I'm going to click select, and this will turn green. So this now says that I've selected this one field called name. In this document, it's Kaylee Carter, but it should be that the value will change in every document. And so we might want to do this for address, and we want to do this for state, and we want to do this for country.
This is crazy.
It's so good, right? And it's like picked up everything and postal code.
Yeah, and
Now
like it,
this
and
one,
it's editable. You can change that. Like I did
mm,
recognition, like what OKR. Like how do what's the acronym for when you recognize the text and form and stuff? There's framework.
OCR.
Yeah, also,
Mm,
and it was painful. And every time you need to change something, like it was a lot of work. This is like yeah, just like throw a bunch of example like 20. Like 20 is not
yeah.
that difficult also, and like the accuracy will be even better than that.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, I guess if you had a more complex
Yeah.
kind of form, it might need a little bit more. This isn't super complex. It's done a good job. But how impressive is this, right? It's picked up the whole table. And if I click on this, you'll notice it's not just picked up the table, it's picked up every column in that table as well. So like we can see like item, quantity, description, and then it'll have all of those values for each line item. It's it's unreal, right? Like so you could then say like if item 55 comes up, like flag this invoice or something like that. Like we need to contact them. There's a product recall. I don't know what it is, but unreal, like so impressive. So I'm going to click on that. This one, it's got a little bit incorrect, right? I actually don't want these things grouped. I want them all as separate things, and we can see that it has got the separate things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this one, and I believe, see that this thinks it's a table, and I'm going to go, no, it's not a table, and we're going to hide it. You'll notice here, look, it's just popped up and said if you forget all of your hidden fields that you just disappeared and you need to use them again, they are still available under show hidden fields. And then I actually want my invoice number definitely. I want my order date definitely, and I definitely want the email so that I can contact them if I need to. Um,
I have a
you could go
question
ahead
for
and
you
do.
in the chat, Amy.
Sure, sure, yeah,
So
go for
I
it.
have min mita pandi dra. Oh, sorry for the name. Do we have any solution if the layout is not the same? Doc layout is uncertain on something like that.
Oh, interesting. So I think at the moment our recommendation, because this is the same for forms recognizer and cognitive services, is the form needs to be the same, but you can create multiple models. So if you like, I had an example where someone said, "Oh, like we have this new form, and this is what we're using moving forwards, but in the past we had this different form, but it's technically got the same information in it." I think the idea was to have two models, right? Old past model. So say anyone comes back with a legacy form, I know they've been keeping somewhere, and then the new forms. So you could build separate models if it's just that the form is maybe a little bit more free form or something like that. So maybe people, I don't know, like add their own columns or add their own information that's not under a heading or something like that, it might struggle a little bit. One thing I always say is test it. Like just go and give it a
Yeah, try.
try.
Maybe we'll find some.
Yeah. So, like, because I always say that anyway with like our cognitive services, I'm always like, try the cognitive services first. If it's not bespoke enough, this is what I say to data scientists. Then I'm like, if it's not, then go and build your own. Like, totally cool. But
Yeah,
if you don't need to, like, why would you? Do you know what I mean? And it's so low barrier to entry. Like, I couldn't recommend more. Try your documents, see what types of things it comes up with, and its probability of that it's got it right. That's what I'd probably say.
yeah. So
It's a great question. Really
yeah,
good
there's the
question.
answer.
Cool. And so very quickly, I'm just going to select a few more. We can see here it's got even things like subtotals. So these are laid out quite differently, right? Like this is like quite far away from this, but it is kind of in this little table here. But it definitely gets that. I want to know what the total discount was. I can select all sorts here. That it's done such a good job. In this case, it has picked up everything. I don't want the supported tailwind traders saying like we don't need that. And then you know what, I'm just going to do it because it's going to take like 1 second, hopefully, for me to just select each of these. So this is the company address. The company might be different, right?
I don't remember if you mentioned it earlier. Where's Talent Traders comes, but it's the fictive company that we use at Ignite the Tour to demonstrate a bunch of stuff. So like that's just a fictive company that was created to explain a bunch of different things.
Yeah, and Seth on our team, he spent a lot of time creating. I think there's 100,000 of these PDFs in total, all different, so that we could apply some machine learning and data science stuff to it. And so I'm getting I'm getting some kind of traction out of his content because he spent a lot of time doing that, and it is amazing because it demos this scenario just like an absolute dream. But cool. So we've selected 21 different things. So I have 21 different pieces of information out of this one form. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the done button just up in the top right corner. It is highlighted in blue. The first time I did kind of miss it because I was focusing on the middle of the page. So just get a sense of what's going on in your surroundings. And then I'm going to click next. And now we're on our model summary. So we can see our little sort of executive summary just on the left. So we can see this is a form processing model. I am the owner. These 5 images have come from my device. And these are all of the different fields that I selected in my data. And then I'm going to click train. It says this may take a while. It shouldn't. This one's a nice, simple one for it. There we go. So we go to details page. So what does training mean, right? Because that's sometimes a bit confusing. Apologies. Training literally means it's gone ahead. I've told it that, yes, what it's picked up automatically from my forms is exactly what I want it to find. And so go ahead and now learn and build that into this machine learning model that is bespoke for my data set. So say Frank works for Contoso instead of Tailwind Traders, an old rival, then... then this won't work, right? Like this model is just for my PDFs. And so, machine learning is very, very good at one thing at the moment, not doing many things. And so cool. So now we can actually see an example. We can see that this model isn't available yet in a Power Automate or Power Apps, but if you do, it'll come up and list all of the different things that uses this model. But we're going to do a quick test here because I want to show you what it looks like when you test it. So I'm going to upload from my device, and then whatever you do, don't use a sample that you trained on because it's already seen that, right? We want to test it with a new sample. So if I go into invoices just here, I'll just click on that top one, 10412, and click open. It's going to go ahead, it's going to use the model that you've built, and it's going to analyze my form for me. So it's just thinking about it here.
So Shirley Dev is asking, and I think I know the answer, but I will let you confirm. But so would we need a model for every supplier if we were scanning all our invoices?
Every supplier. So if each supplier's form is different, then yes. If the form for all of your suppliers is the same, then no. The supplier would be the value, the information.
Well, I'm assuming if you're a shop and like you have different supplier, like every invoice will be different, like the logo and stuff, right? Like at least using this service, like if you want something that can catch any invoice and process it, then like you're out of the cognitive services like now you need like a real deep custom model.
Yeah, probably the case. I mean, also think about what is the upfront cost to train it on each supplier. You know what would be an interesting question? Actually, if you were doing this with the Azure Cognitive Service, because remember, this is like software as a service. So this is taking care of a lot for me. However, Azure Cognitive Services Forms Recognizer, you do everything via API calls. It would be super interesting if you got 5 examples from each of your suppliers, and then you were able to just like create a script that would do that for each supplier, because it's the same process in pretty much most of the cases. That would be fascinating, because in Forms Recognizer, you don't select these, it just learns them. So you just send it 5 documents and it goes, yeah, I've learned. And then you test it and you improve it, sort of thing. So maybe in this case, you might need to get a little bit deeper with the API calls and a bit of automation there around like scripting. But it's the same service underneath. So if you can do it in here, it's nice because it's like UI based. But like definitely go ahead, go code first if necessary.
Yeah, like
it's a good question.
Depending on how many suppliers you have, like just using that and creating 5 models is not that long.
No, No, exactly. But cool. So look, it's found quite a lot. So name. It wasn't super confident about that one. That's interesting. I wonder why.
Maybe
It's
because the family
100%.
name is short.
Maybe might be because it's shorter and some people's family names are longer. That's a really good point. Well done, Frank. Frank, are you a data scientist? um,
I work with those, but yeah, no.
Address, it's 100% confident, 86, 70%. So like it's doing a pretty good job, 53. And then down here on the table, I love that. The table has absolutely smashed it. It's done such a good job, 100%, 100%, 100%. So we can see here, it does well with like the dollar amounts. It seems to get a little bit, it's done well with these as well. It must be where they're, not as sure about the email.
Not sure about the
But
email.
yeah. So 36%, so it's still picking it up, but it's saying it's not super sure. Now, obviously, you could give it 20 documents and it's going to see far more than it sees
Well,
in
yeah, but
five.
what's the percentage? 36?
Yeah.
It's not that bad. Well, depends.
No,
If my daughter's bringing back a grade of 36, I won't be happy, but
it's all relevant, right?
it's
But
all about the
anyway,
context.
yeah. So it's basically it's done a pretty decent job there, right? To pick up all of the things that we wanted to do. It didn't miss a single one, even if it was less sure about some of them than others.
Yeah, it's
Um,
pretty cool.
It's neat. So we have our model, but it's not published. And when we publish the model, we can use it. So let's quickly publish this model. We click on the publish button. It's going to go ahead. And again, so when we do this in Azure, we then publish to something like an Azure container instance when we build a bespoke model. And in this case, it's managing it all for us, a bit like cognitive services. But all done from a UI. So really, really neat. So let's just let that one publish. In fact, I don't know if I dare go off and click on. No, here we go. It's published it already. So,
Drum roll.
I know, yeah. So if I click off this page, is it going to get upset again? So cool. So we can see that. And now we have, instead of publish, we have use model. So if I click on use model, we can see I can use it in a new app or I can use it in a new flow. The app is impressive. So we're going to go with the app first and then I'll come back to the flow. But if we go to new app here, this does this automatically. I was expecting it to load and then I'd have a blank app and I would have to go from there. This is not the case. I think I know why my internet might be so bad. It's a storm outside. It's like thunder and lightning.
Oh.
Oof. Yeah. So hopefully you can still hear me. It's
pretty. You're on my side. It's pretty good.
Cool. Yeah, it's getting pretty intense out there. Cool. Whilst it's doing that, we'll also
we keep you with us for the next 15 minutes.
I know. There's still so much I want to show you. But no, I've showed you like the basics. You could all take it from here, I reckon, and go ahead. Oh, the flow loaded quicker. So as you can see here, this looks like the template, right? Like, the original template we did with the OneDrive and the email.
Yep.
It's doing this for us. So this is always a treat. I just need it to load at the bottom, and then we can go ahead and build our flow. But this would be, hey, say I had like a button or a trigger from like a mobile or something like that. I could trigger it by uploading a form, and then we can extract some of the information. And I'm going to put it into an Excel file because, well, Excel.
And a few of our viewers are closer to you because it's raining and they're just waiting for the thunder and the lightning to reach them.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm in the UK. If anyone is in the UK, I live in the Midlands, so the middle of the UK. And yeah, it's getting intense out there.
Here in Canada, it's middle of the day and it's blue sky, big yellow circle.
Frank. Cool. So I think Power Apps is still loading. So we're going to go ahead with the flow. So I'm going to click on continue. You'll notice here it is using the common data service, and the AI builder does use that a lot. So it will ask you to set up. So once you click free trial for AI builder, it will get you to create a common data service in the background. I think of it like a data store. It stores variables, it stores data, stuff like that you can use with inside this environment. So yeah, just to explain that one out. Oh no, we were doing so well. It was doing really, my internet was doing better with the forms. Apologies. Oh, we are getting there. We are getting there. Even though there's a storm, it's super
Just
humid.
give you time to get hydrated. Like if Brett
I
was
know.
here, you don't know him, but on Twitch he's famous to remember everybody to drink water.
That's really funny. I've taken it off at the moment, but my little fitness device does that. It tells me to get up and move, and I'm like, I can't. I'm in a meeting. Like, but yeah, always love my water bottle. Here we go. So this is what it's automatically created for us. So I was in the forms recognizer model, and I just said, yeah, I want to create a flow. It's pretty much built it for us. So on a manual trigger, it said, okay, like what you'll need to do is you'll need to tell us what the document type is, and then it's given some examples. I love that. It provides you a drop down, so you could enter anything there. You can edit this. And then it says, okay, like the document name. So please select a file or an image. So this will be like an image upload input. And then I'm going to add an input, and I'm going to add a text input. And I'm going to call it invoice ID. And then I'll get them to put in, the invoice number that's on the PDF file, that's the file name. I'm going to get them to put the invoice just in there so that we can put it into our spreadsheet. And then what it's using is this overall predict function. So this action will extract the data from the document that you upload using the AI Builder form processing model you've trained. And if you want to know more, go to aka.ms learn form processing. You can select the model. Do I have more than one? Oh, I love this. See, look. So these two down here are the two that I have created myself, the two bespoke ones. But you'll recognize these, right? Sentiment analysis. That's what we used before. So all of these ones are the pre-built ones. So I could use anything under this predict function. We're going to use the TT forms. We're going to use the document type and the actual document content. And then I'm going to add a new step. And it's just going to search for all my connectors. So we haven't actually seen this yet. So you can obviously just choose between all your different things. So AI Builder comes up, but I am actually going to use Excel in this case. And it's going to tell us all the different actions I can do. So I'm going to add a row into a table. And it's going to come up with just more information that it needs. And so what it needs now is a shared Excel file that it is able to get access to. And so if I drop down here, I'm going to go to OneDrive for Business. And under here, I should be able to just choose my OneDrive. And then in Files, we saw this earlier out, and we were saying where we were going to save it. We're going to do the picker, and I actually have this TT analyzed invoices file. So this is the file that I've already built. So it's just a Excel. It's got a table in it, and it's got a load of columns. And this is special. Once it knows which file, there we go. So it's got the TT analyzed invoices. When I then drop down this table, so you have to create a table in the Excel. But when you do, you can give a table a name in Excel, and it then comes up here. So TT invoices, I've called it.
Well, I'm assuming you could also check if there's a table, if not create it. But that's just more action.
Absolutely, yeah. You could automate that, and then if it is there, just do this. If it isn't there, then do that first, and then join. Absolutely, you can make these super complicated, which is a treat. But here we go. So now it's pulled in all of the different columns as named, because I've even got a spelling mistake just here, I've noticed, as named in my Excel file. And so here we can use that dynamic idea. So if I click in document ID, oh, sorry, it's getting a little bit laggy again. There we go. Oh, document ID. There we go. We can scroll down, And my document ID didn't come from the actual, oh my goodness, sorry, I've actually completely skipped past this. These are all of our different values. Unbelievable, right? Country values, total value. Wow, these are from the form. So it knows exactly what schema it needs. We're going to go right down to the bottom here. Ooh, so many things, because it even does bounding boxes actually, so you can say where in my file if you care where it is in the file. You can also just search, but we've just got down to it here. So we had document type, we had document, and then we had invoice ID, which I added. So I'm going to put my document ID as my invoice ID, and then I can also just search, and I found this in this case a lot easier. So if I click on name, and I click in dynamic, and I type name, because that's the name of my column. And then space value. It just comes up and you can click that, and then that will add all of them in. So you would then just need to do that once for all of these different things. But hopefully, here's one I created earlier, because it took me quite a while to do that. It's been a little bit laggy. How long do I have left? I have 7 minutes. I can definitely show you this. We can save
in the meantime, like if people want to learn more, I know you share me a few links. So there's the AKMS MS Learn AI Builder, right? That's where we can learn more about this fantastic builder.
Absolutely. So here we go. I've got a few different links for you while that loads. So if you want to learn about Power Automate in general, go to ak.ms mslearn-Power Automate. If you want, and this is the Microsoft Learn module. So this will really take you through the basics step by step. It will tell you everything you need to know to go and learn more in our docs.microsoft.com. And then MS Learn is for AI Builder. So they have their own separate learning path, is ak.ms mslearn-AI Builder. And then, as I mentioned, this is an add-on, so AI Builder. But I mean, you've seen how powerful this could be, right? Like, AI Builder is an add-on. So if you go to ak.ms/AI Builder-calculator, this will take you to a page where you can estimate the amount of calls, for example, that you're going to need to different models and stuff like that. You can like add in, like, oh, how many different models might I use? And calculate how much you would need to spend on the add-on per month. It does so much for you. Like, so much is taken care of. The management of it, like, even think about the usage of it, right? And tracking as the flow is being used and stuff like that. Really, really, really interesting. I also just wanted to share with you a couple of people who I've been working with more recently around this and really sparked my interest in it. But these people are experts in this space. So we have Donna Sarker, who's on our team. She's a cloud advocate. She's leading the Power Platform initiatives that we're doing here in advocacy, and she is doing some amazing stuff in here. So definitely follow her. Keith, Alison, and Chris, I actually had a chance to interview them at Build 2020 as part of like the UK time zone, and we talked a little bit about Hack for Good and how they use the Power Platform and the whole Power Platform to help different charitable initiatives. And then Jessie is someone that I've met recently. She is amazing. She actually helped me build this, so she really helped me with that connection between Power Automate and Power Apps. And she's done some amazing stuff around Power BI as well. So I definitely just wanted to share these people, because if you want to learn more in this space, these people are sharing cool stuff and cool content.
Awesome.
And then, yes, we're here. So let's get to edit.
I share also all those links in the
amazing chat. Thank you, Frank, that's perfect. So here, as you can see, this is one I created earlier, and I added all of my different fields to that Excel, and we can see them all here, so that's great. And then if I go into test, because this is the impressive bit, right? I click I'll perform the trigger action. Oh no, or not. There we go, save and test. And this one is super impressive because if I need to perform the trigger action, I need to input that invoice, right? Like that is the input. And I was thinking, oh gosh, like how is it going to want me to do this? It literally does this in the pane that we're sitting in. So it's very, very good. Oh, I think it's saving it as well at the same time. Does it not know I only have 3 minutes to show that this works? I think we're honestly, we're going to end exactly on time. I'll show you. Here we go. So I can import my documents. If I click on import here. Oh no, I need it to move faster than this. Import. And we won't choose the top one because we've already seen that. We'll choose the second one. And then under document type, I'm going to check application PDF. And then in document ID, so our invoice ID, I'm going to put 10487. And I'm going to click run flow. And it's going to send it off. And then it says, okay, like go ahead and you can go and then look at your run flows page. And what that's going to do is just show you like all of the different flows, whether they're successful or not. As you're building them, you will be doing this iteratively because like often they don't quite do what you're expecting, or it's not quite the right piece of information that you're looking for. But it'll give you a whole run history. 2 minutes. And come on.
So obviously, if you have questions, you will need to reach out to Amy on Twitter. So her Twitter account is just written under her video feed. So she is very dedicated. She will answer your question.
But this is the impressive bit, right? Because it's added this to my OneDrive folder in, so let's go and have a look at files, in my TT invoices analyzed document. Bit concerned it said it was only updated yesterday, but I have faith here that it will.
I didn't configure yet my sound effect, but
yeah, 10487. That was the one that we just added just here. We see I got a little error there. I need to fix that one with the previous one. But it's then added it as a full row of data. If you're an Excel whiz, you can play with it in here. If you're a Power BI expert, you can go ahead and take all of this data and start analyzing it even further. But automation, right? I didn't have to put this data in. This data has been extracted from a box, literally a PDF that you couldn't get that data out of previously. And we've used AI with no code to do that. So it's very treat.
Awesome. So Amy, thank you again for coming. It was awesome. I'm sure everybody is like me, blown away by all that AI, and it's so easy and like everybody can jump in. So really big thanks for that. So let's continue the conversation. If you have questions, reach out on Amy on Twitter. So come back on Friday. I will have Laurent who will be building with me, showing how he build a Xamarin Form to manage the notifications. So cross-platform notification with Xamarin and Android, and a lot of fun also. So yeah. So thank you all for coming, and I wish you a nice day. Bye.